Okay. All right, Team New Horizons family, JuJuan Buford broadcasting from downtown Detroit Metro. Actually, this to be more specific, broadcasting from actually downtown Detroit. Enjoying the day out in the sun while the kids are taking advantage of the river walk. I decided to escape for a moment and do this quick post. So definitely look forward to the feedback and look forward to the success stories that I'll know that will come following the perspective that I'm looking to share with the group right now. A lot has been said about Performance Club and why it's absolutely important that we all participate and qualify for Performance Club, especially following the Dallas convention. And look, let me tell you, if you've not taken the time to listen to the leadership show and see the enhancements they've made to the compensation plan, look, I'm gonna be transparent with you. I pity you, I really do. It's so absolutely rare to participate for a company, and me hailing from corporate America, being a former investment advisor, I can't help but to be excited about this, but to participate in a company that is enjoying the type of success and growth that LegalShield has enjoyed, particularly over the last 2-3 years. So we've had massive expansion and growth, have well in excess of $2 billion invested in us over the last several years. And of course, now I'm breaking into an entire new market in the UK. Is absolutely incredible. And most companies, when they're having that type of growth and success, making money hand over fist like that, what ends up happening is, they typically pocket the monies themselves, right? They keep the profits in their own back pocket. And what LegalShield has done is basically said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do the exact opposite. We're actually going to take the profit. We're actually going to take the monies that have been made. We're actually going to put it in the pockets of the associates, those individuals who've built this thing and made it happen. So, for me alone, I have to be just I'm incredibly excited by the fact that we are allowing individuals to participate in that wealth and prosperity because they didn't have to do it, right? They didn't have to make that choice. So Performance Club is just one way in which they are funneling those monies back into our pockets. And so I could spend all day long talking about what is Performance Club. We can find that in our back office, right, in Ellison Engage. We can find specifications as it relates to how to Performance Club qualify at our online LegalShield associate back portal, right? So I'm not going to spend time on what it is, right? Because we can look that up, but I am going to talk here briefly about what's required to actually qualify, right? What are the common traits of successful LegalShield entrepreneurs with our company? And I could tell you, the number one trait, more than anything else, is going to be consistency, right? With our company, most of us have come to understand that, look, it's not required that you work 20, 30, 40, 50 hours a week. Our business model is actually built to work around the schedules of really busy people. And my business mentors always taught me, you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. It'll get done, right? It's designed for those individuals who are going to school full time, for those individuals who may be working full time, for those individuals who have family, work, and academic obligations. Believe it or not, our business model is actually built to wrap around busy people's lifestyles, right? So the success with LegalShield is found in slithers of time, but it's consistent activity within that time, right? Successful LegalShield entrepreneurs understand there's no such thing as time management. It's just priority management, right? So what might you have to do to have success? Well, try watching a couple episodes less of a Game of Thrones, right? Watch one football game or one basketball game less, as opposed to going out to the bar. I'm looking to just be real here, or going out to a restaurant. Take 20 or 30 minutes to do the following things, right? Number one, when we talk about being consistent with the activity, what is that activity? Consistently making exposures, right? Taking the time to just invite someone new who may not have heard about the company before to learn about what it is you're doing. So whether that be a video, whether that be an online presentation, a conference call, whether that be information that you send them from your app, right, with Prospect by LegalShield, it's just taking a handful of moments, right? I can tell you first thing in the morning, what I typically do personally, is I believe in just being transparent, is I'll jump on LinkedIn and I'll invite a couple individuals on LinkedIn, maybe a handful, 5, 6 individuals, to actually learn about my business. Now, that's 3 to 5 exposures done per day in less than a 15, 20-minute period of time. Now, in and of itself, that doesn't sound like a lot, right? Not extraordinary activity, but you compound that over the course of weeks and months, right? You take 3 to 5 per day. At the end of a week, that's 25 times. At the end of a month, that's over 100 times. At the end of the year, those are thousands of times that I've actually taken the time to invite someone to learn about what it is that I'm doing. You don't think that's going to have a result? Of course it is, right? We track our presentations. Once you've exposed someone, you invite them to take a look, you followed up with them, what did you like best? Maybe you invited them to a 3-way call and had an expert, someone who's more experienced, who may have the time that you don't have, right, or the wherewithal that you don't have, to actually get that person to a decision as to whether or not they want to learn more. Right, a presentation is scheduled. The presentation can take place, once again, via conference call, right? It can take place on an online webcast. Or if you're really maximizing the leadership around you, you can allow that leader in the organization to schedule the appointment for you, give the presentation while you're at the comfort of your home, while you're at work or on vacation. They'll wrap them up, put a bow on top of them, and you collect the compensation the following day. How does that sound, right? So we track things like our presentations. We track referrals. Right? You know you're doing a phenomenal job of educating people and sharing information with people about your business when they're willing to refer people to you. So we track those things, right? If you're having a hard time, quote unquote, finding people to talk to, that's your punishment for not asking for referrals. Whether someone enrolls in the service or not, you just simply ask them, look, did you see value? What is it I shared? Look, whether they enroll or not, that's indifferent, but just simply to ask them, who else do you know that could benefit from the service? Who do you know who has children? Who do you know who has a business? Who do you know who cares about their employees? Who do you know who's looking to earn the extra $1,500 per month, part-time, spare time? That's just about everyone in today's economy. Or who do you know who, quite frankly, who's self-motivated, entrepreneurial? There are a lot of professionals who were displaced like me by the bad economy a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, and quite frankly, are being displaced today. Individuals who have post-undergrad degrees. Individuals who have worked in corporate America, individuals who have specialized skills, who've given up 15, 20 years of their time to a job. And we know if you believe in job security, you might as well believe in the tooth fairy, right? People who have been displaced, who are looking for genuine, real opportunities to partner with companies who will pay them a 6-figure income. So who do you know who's self-motivated, entrepreneurial, not afraid of work, looking to get after it, right? Tracking the referrals. And then, of course, last but not least, you want to track the number of happy members you create. Look, we're fortunate that we market a service and a product, number one, that 99.9% of the U.S. population can benefit from. But secondly, that once we market the service and someone acquires it, not only are we compensated up front, but we're paid a residual income, meaning the associate who shared the membership with me over 10 years ago received the upfront compensation. But I've owned this membership now, acquired a couple business plans to protect the different businesses that I own with my family, and been paying for it for months. So that associate is getting paid over and over again, month in and month out for work he did just once. Right? So you can look up part-time, spare time, and the slithers of time between your work and family obligations. And because you're blessed in a handful of members, not 100, not 200 members, you're not Mr. Superman, Mr. or Ms. LegalShield, but literally part-time, spare time, you can be looking up 5-6 years from now, and just because you occasionally did an exposure, you can build a $60,000, $100,000 a year residual income. It's absolutely incredible. So these are the things that successful LegalShield entrepreneurs and people who qualify, that's the mindset, right? This consistent activity. At the end of the day, people don't wake up in the morning planning to fail. They just simply fail to plan. So, I mean, literally setting aside time in their calendars, knowing when a leadership show is taking place, right? The beautiful thing about our training calls is you don't have to be on the majority of the calls live. You can set aside 30 minutes over the course of a day, a week, or quite frankly, even a month to listen to the calls to make sure you're informed and you're aware of what's transpiring. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Of course, you can turn around and make sure that you're aware of when our team calls are transpiring, right? You can kind of, in a slithers of time, fit that in the schedule, right? You can choose your favorite video or your favorite medium, right? For me, I like PowerPoints. I like to have a video for the membership, a video for the opportunity. This really is funny, phenomenal music the guy is sharing here. You can have your favorite medium that you use to share information with people. You don't have to be myopic, right? So once again, consistent activity, knowing what tools you're going to want to use, having a 3-way partner. You know, I have 2 or 3 phone numbers that I actually saved in my phone where I know before I start making phone calls or before I do a sit down, who I can call and invite to have that conversation with the party that I'm doing the presentation with, that I've shared information with over the phone, right? Once again, planning my activity, consistent activity, not doing anything extra spectacular. That's one of the habits of successful business owners. One of the other habits that are absolutely important if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur, and particularly within LegalShield, is to set goals, right? To have an ideal of where you want to be a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. To be in a position where, quite frankly, you have an ideal in terms of income. Right? If you take aim at nothing, you'll hit it every single time. Now, I know many of us are uncomfortable with this ideal talking about money. We're uncomfortable with the ideal setting monetary goals. But quite frankly, look, we have our nonprofit endeavors I'm sure we're all involved in, whether it be the YMCA, contributing to our church, whatever the case may be. But this is a for-profit business, so you should have monetary goals, right? If you're looking to Performance Club qualify on a monthly basis, if you're a Performance Club qualifier, look, by just doing that alone, LegalShield will actually pay you an extra $500 per month. Just Performance Club qualifying, right? 3, 4, 5 memberships, that's it. Extra $500, that's $6,000. I did the math for myself personally, right? To give you an idea of what my thinking was. I said to myself, JuJuan, look, if you Performance Club qualify month in and month out, as long as you're tenured in LegalShield, once again, you don't have to go at this full time. You don't have to go 100%, right? 20, 30, 40, 50, 70 hours a week. Let's say you just did this part-time and you did it just to PCQ qualify. I know just Performance Club qualifying alone, that would put an extra $500 per month in my pocket. There are small business production goals, right? For those of us who work with small business owners, well, they'll, over the course of a year, put an extra $500 per month, extra $6,000 for Performance Club qualifying, working B2B. So already I'm up to $12,000 in bonuses, right? In addition to that, I know if I can help 3 individuals, not 20, not 100, if I just help 3 individuals who want to earn an extra $1,500 to $2,000 per month, part-time, spare time, slithers of time, LegalShield will pay me an additional $750 per month for doing that, right? So when I added all that up, I said just part-time, spare time, not even taking into account my compensation, the work that I'm doing, just in bonuses alone, LegalShield Corporate will pay me $21,000 on a yearly basis. Can you, think about that for a moment. 5, 10 hours a week at the most, part-time to PCQ qualify, $21,000 per year. So when I looked at that, I said, well, with $21,000 a year over the course of 5 years, I wouldn't have to spend money out of my own back pocket. I could save up to 5 years and pay cash, down deposit, $100,000 on a house or a home. The extra $21,000 per year, well, my kids' college tuition, unfortunately, will probably still be a little bit more than that. But look, that'll alleviate a lot of stress, right? And that's exactly why I'm doing it. That's one of my primary goals in my family. All of my children want to go to upper echelon colleges and universities. I don't want to have them beg and do what I had to do, work 20, 30 hours a week and strain to be able to pay the cost of tuition and make good grades. I don't want to put them through that, right? $21,000 over the course of, wow, this is like the part of the benefit, right, of working downtown Detroit. You get to see everything. In respect, $20,000 a year over the course of 20 years, earning 8% interest is over $1 million. That's $420,000 in contributions, but that's over $541,000 plus interest. Now look, $1 million a year, depending on what your goals and objectives are, the type of lifestyle you want to have for yourself, or 50 or 60 or $100,000 a year, might be a drop in a bucket, or it might be exactly what the doctor ordered, right? But I said to myself, part-time, just the bonuses alone, I could set myself up to put my kids to school, buy a house, and then when I decide I want to work because I want to, not because I have to, if I decide I just want to kick my feet up and just chillax, right? Retire for real, I will have built an asset that will produce that type of result. So have goals for yourself, right? Know to what extent you want to rank advance, right? If you're an associate, listen to this, know how to get to senior associate. If you're a manager, know how to get to senior director. If you're a director, know how to get to ED. That should be something you put on your calendar on a month-to-month basis, having a general idea of where you want to be, right? Have a residual income goal, right? How many happy members you want to create. My goal, quite frankly, personally, is to create over 5,000 happy members. I know if I create over 5,000 happy members, who cares if I do it over a week? Who cares if I do it over a year? Who cares if it takes me 5, 10 years? LegalShield will compensate me approximately $300,000 per year in residual income for the rest of my life once I reach that goal, right? That's where I tend to get off on the elevator. Now, some of you may say only $250,000, that's it? Some of you may say, wow, right? You can do that. You can legitimately do that. Part-time, spare time over the course of several years. Yes, you can. It happens all the time. If it's happening for other people, why not you, right? Vacations 3-4 times a year. That way the wife doesn't question it. Oh, there you are doing that LegalShield thing. Oh, thanks, babe. We're going to Cancun again. All expenses paid for. Go, go. My husband, go. Go, JuJuan, go, right? The bottom line is set goals for yourself. Look, at the end of the day, when you become a LegalShield entrepreneur, it's your responsibility to do these things. There are no bosses, right? There are no managers. There's no one going to be there to tell you what to do. You have to take it and make it your responsibility to do this for yourself. Look, another trait or characteristic of successful entrepreneurs, and notice I'm saying successful entrepreneurs, right? I'm not saying successful LegalShield associates. This is a business, just like any other business. The business model might be a little bit different, but at the end of the day, the business principles are all the same, right? You got to commit in any business that you're involved in. I don't care if you're self-employed or if you're running a Fortune 500 company. You have to commit to personal and professional development. The bottom line is you don't get in life what you want, you get in life for what you are and what you are becoming. And to be more specific, you get in life the value that you deliver to the marketplace. People compensate other individuals in our marketplace, in our economy, for the value that they bring, and they make a decision based on how much they want to pay. In other words, you got to constantly be about the process of educating yourself, sharpening the saw. You know, as a former investment advisor, we called it continuing education. It was compliance, right? Every single year, I had to take classes so I could stay abreast of the tax law, so I could stay abreast of the estate planning laws, so I could be aware of the most effective investment tools to share with my clients to help them meet their financial goals. Well, it's no different in any profession. Whether you're a doctor, a physician, a teacher, there's going to be continuing education, right? And so if you treat your life, quite frankly, casually, you'll become a casualty, not just in LegalShield, but in business and quite frankly, in life, period. So what does that mean? That means, once again, you have to take responsibility for these things. That's one of the success criteria to do well in business, right? From the time that you have been attending school, whether it be from elementary up to high school through college, other people have always been responsible. Let's be real, at the end of the day, for making sure you're equipped with the academic and intellectual tools to succeed and to achieve. And unfortunately, that's where most people stop growing, right? They stop reading books. They stop engaging and challenging themselves intellectually. They stop acquiring additional skills, and then they look up 40, 50, 60 years from now, and they're still needing to work, and they don't have the skills to pay the bills, right? And we know what's waiting for those individuals, unfortunately, because if you still believe in Social Security, you might as well believe in the Tooth Fairy as well, right? So the 10 pages a day, visiting the Shield Nation website, right? Taking those classes and courses, going to your learning management system that's included as part of your LegalShield Advantage, right? Log into your online back portal where you have access to Franklin Covey Planner courses. To me, that's still insane. Yeah, people don't take advantage of those courses. I mean, it's amazing. A Franklin Covey planner costs at least $100. The filler costs about $100. To take a Franklin Covey planner course, if you paid for it out of pocket on your own, you'd have to pay a minimum $3,000 to have a professional that trains CEOs and CFOs for a living to come into your living room, show up in a classroom and teach those courses. That's how invaluable they are. Yeah, the upper crust, the top 2%, the individuals that we read about in Forbes and Black Enterprise and Wall Street Journal, those are the type of classes they're taking, and we make them available to you for just being a LegalShield associate. So yeah, take advantage of those things, right? You have the leadership call that's transpiring. All right, for many of us, you know, unfortunately, we adopt this attitude. It's very arrogant, right? I'm just being real. I'm not going to candy coat it today. Just a shameful ignorance, right? To believe that they have what it takes already inside them to grow and achieve their wildest dreams. It's just not true. The bottom line is you have to become the person that's worthy of the things that you're aspiring to. It's just not going to happen like osmosis. You got to take time to develop yourself professionally and develop yourself personally. Look, another way of thinking about it is an axiom that I've oftentimes heard from my business mentors. The thinking that has brought you to the place that you're at now, right? You made an appointment to be where you're at now because of your current thinking. Well, think about it. If that's true, and we know that to be true, we also have to understand if you want to get to a different destination, you want to get to a different space in life, you want to have more can be more time, it could be more money, it could be better relationships with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, it could be the capacity to serve more individuals. Well, your thinking has to change, right? You have to become a person that thinks differently to do those different things. If nothing else, that's why personal and professional development is so absolutely important. Once again, this isn't a LegalShield thing, though this call is about LegalShield. Hopefully you apply it to your LegalShield business. This is a life lesson, regardless of what type of endeavor you're involved in, right? So successful people do the things that unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. So you have to be willing to do these things, right? So you have the small biz training calls. You have the group trainings that transpire every 3 months within our marketplace, where we fly in multimillionaires to teach you how to become more effective at your business. We just had Damon John at our last conference. We're gonna have Bob Berg at the next one, Grant Cardone, John C. Maxwell. These are speakers that typically charge $100, $250, $500, some of them $1 million to come speak. We make these speakers available to you. It's absolutely incredible. So definitely be about personal development. So, you know, just recapping what I just shared briefly here. Number one, commit to consistent, persistent activity. It does not require, once again, 40 hours a week to earn, quite frankly, 5 figures with our company, and even 6 figures. It's just not required, but it is required to be consistent, right? Adopt the attitude of the tortoise and not the hare. 2 to 3 exposures a day, you'd be surprised how far it would take you. Number one, wake up in the morning and plan, right? Plan your day out. Know this is how many exposures I'm going to do. This is the tool I'm going to use. I know this training call is taking place. I'm going to put it on my calendar, right? Because once again, there's no such thing as time management. There's only priority management. Set goals, right? If it's to buy a house, if it's to be at a point where you're working because you want to, not because you have to 5, 10 years from now. If it's to be able to afford to give back to a church or organization altruistically. Maybe if you're like me, you have all of those things going on, right? Children, family, personal, community goals that you want to achieve. Map that out, reverse engineer it. If you need assistance with that, definitely get back with the leadership. Give me a phone call. Be glad to sit down and help you do that, right? You want to know what's the next level? How do you rank advanced so you can improve your income? How do you build that residual income? How do you do the calculus? How do I qualify for those quarterly trips, right? To Cabo, Cancun, Puerto Rico, so on and so forth. Don't be afraid. Give us a phone call. While you're in business for yourself, you're not by yourself. And once again, commit to personal and professional development, right? At the end of the day, I would say that's probably the most important characteristic of those of us who are succeeding as entrepreneurs and LegalShield inside and out is, once again, knowing what the book of the month is, not being afraid to talk to individuals who've achieved something at a different level than you have in a certain area of their life, right? And being willing to take those ideals, take those experiences and apply them to yourself. So with that being said, signing off, about to get back to the phones here, continue to build empire. Everyone have a fantastic day. Goodbye for now.